Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to talk about the Kemper Profiler and how I use it for live recording and practice. Right now, I have it set up for live use. So basically the way I would go about this is I would plug right into my pedal board. And from my pedal board, I'll basically go into the front of the Kemper right here on the input jack. I also run the Kemper Profiler remote, which allows me to switch amp profiles on the fly and also use Kemper's delays, reverbs, compressors, all of which I'm a huge fan of. So once you're into the input of the Kemper, you have a few different options. Most of the time, I just will run two XLRs out to run stereo. There's also 1/4-inch jacks. So for smaller gigs, let's say if I'm doing an open jam or doing a small rehearsal, I'll use my Yamaha DXR10. And so what I use that for is basically like how you would use a traditional amp cabinet. So for certain gigs, if you want, you can use it as an external monitor, just to give you some more sound. And if you see here in the back, there's a 1/4-inch that goes from the output of the head of the Kemper into the back. So you can use all these options at one time. The XLRs won't affect the way the 1/4-inch signal sounds or anything like that. So I knew when I bought the Kemper that I was going to use the Yamaha DXR10 as my cabinet of choice. So what I had to figure out was a way to secure the Kemper on top of the speaker. So what you run into if you just lay it up there, it's not secure at all. It could easily get knocked over or anything could happen. So I had an idea to just use a bungee cord to secure it. As you can see here, it's pretty secure. It's not going anywhere. So the way I accomplished that is I went to the hardware store and I bought this U-shaped bracket. And then I removed the rubber rings right here to make space for that. So that now screws on. You hook the bungee cord through. It straps over the top of the Kemper through the handle onto the handle of the speaker. You're good to go. So now I'm going to talk about how I use the Kemper for recording and for practice. So I get home from the gig, take the Kemper out of the case, place it here in the stand, and I connect the SPDIF cable, which you can see here. So the SPDIF cable transmits a stereo signal that goes right into my audio interface, which outputs through a FireWire cable into my computer. And I can control the guitar signal coming in through this SPDIF fader that you see on the screen. So basically, that's like the way I'll rehearse. I'll just have my Kemper right here. I can set up my amp profiles however I want them to sound, and I'll practice with my music in iTunes or YouTube, whatever. So for recording, traditionally, you would have to amp your mic cabinet. If you want to run stereo, you have to use two mics, whatever the case is. With this, it's just super simple. You're already getting a stereo signal put right into your DAW, and it just simplifies everything. A lot of times with mics, you run into like phase issues and whatnot, and it can just be a really long, drawn-out process. And for me, this just like simplifies everything. And also, I want to mention that the quality of these profiles are top-notch. Most of the profiles I use were recorded in really nice studios with really nice microphones that I might not have access to, and you're basically getting that same captured sound right into your own studio, and it just makes it so convenient. Another thing that's really awesome about the Kemper is that I can use a SPDIF to record directly into my studio, and then I'll run an XLR out the back that is only taking a dry signal. So what I'll do whenever I send my mixes to the engineer or send my stems to the engineer, they're receiving the guitar part I recorded with all of the reverbs and the delays that I like, but they can also get a dry signal, and I can even do a pure dry signal or just the amp signal minus the reverb and delays. So there's tons of options with it. So these are the ways that I'm using the Kemper. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the stuff I talked about today. Also in the comments, I'd like to hear the different ways that you guys are using the Kemper. Thanks for watching.